Howdy all, and welcome to the Wor Lasses Show. I am Lady Sam, and I am joined by my superstar co-host Aran Embleton,
Love that.
bringing you the latest. I bet you did. Bringing you the latest in Newcastle women's football news and match review. Please click that thumbs up button nice and early for us. It really does help us in the search results to find more like-minded Toon Mad fans like yourselves. Get in the chat as ever. Keep your comments flowing to us, sharing your opinions with each other. Your super chat's guaranteed to be read out. Hulk smash the subscribe button, hit the bell for TTR content, and you can even become a member of the Toon Review family to win prizes in our giveaways where Paul plays the most horrendous elevator music you've ever heard in your life. So why not join? If he's watching this, he's going to kill us again.
Yeah, yeah.
But why not join? Anyway, we'll get into the content. So Aran, Jemima Puddle Duck Embleton third.
Where's the mute button?
That's your real name. They had to like
No.
give you an extra large England cap and print it all the way around, didn't they, to get your whole
Yes,
name on?
that.
I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from. Aran, how are you? What you been up to?
Well, I was okay until I came on with you. No, it's all good. Same old time. Coaching. Again, dropping sessions around the northeast. Loving it. Loving just going in and inspiring the kids. Loads of one-to-one sessions available, so feel free to go on my website or again follow us on Instagram, X, like Sam says, the whole shebang. You can't miss us on there. But yeah, if anyone's wanting some coaching sessions or drop-in sessions, please feel free to contact me, and we can go through availability. It's all good, Sam.
Good stuff. Well, I am too on all your social channels as well. Lady Sam at TTR, Insta, and X. I'm not on Facebook because I don't know whether I'm like feeling that I'm just not a Facebooker anymore. But yeah, TTR on X and Insta. I'm going to move on to do our news update, our general lasses and women's football. So first of all, I am going to kick off with the England Lionesses update. We have been announced by the UEFA Women's Nations League, and we have landed in Group A3, aka the "you were bad this year and you're now getting coal for Christmas" group, because this is the standing. I mean,
Oh wow! Right, okay, all right.
coal
FIFA
for Christmas.
rankings, where all of them are near the top. England in second. Belgium's got to be in the top 10. Again, Portugal and Spain. I think Spain's number 1 now. Wow.
Yeah.
And say no more. Well, at the end of the day, well, look at like this, Sam. You've got to try yourself out against the best, don't you? So we might as well have the death group. And that's exactly what happened.
Not in the form we're in. No, I would like the really poor teams. I mean, like, what South Africa was it? That wasn't like the standout performance I would expect to see from a Lionesses Euros winning side. So I do not share your optimism for the group standing. But thank you for your feedback, Aran Embleton. Jemima Puddle Duck the Third.
It'll be okay. Don't worry.
Yeah. We'll be fine. I'm sure we've worked out all of the issues from last time. General news. We have got a commentator in hot water. A broadcaster is now under investigation by the Women's Professional League, saying that Ella Toon has got a face like a smacked bum during a game. They are said to be taking the matter seriously, which I am thrilled at, because let's face it, how often would you hear something like that said in the men's game? Next bit of news is Michelle Kang. You may actually be familiar with the name because she is actually the owner of the London City Lionesses. She's invested $2 million in a women's football footwear brand. I don't know if you've heard of this, Aran, but IDA, have you heard of them? Like exclusively designing footwear cleats for women. Yeah, all scientifically backed stuff as well. So that's pretty cool, right?
I mean, especially for the whole ACL piece, and really because women's obviously feet, your instep and everything's so different. So the fact that now there's a brand there that's really homing in, plowing the money in, obviously to investigate and see exactly what women need to supply the best boots. I think that's a massive positive. I think that's great.
Yeah, I was really pleased to hear that as well. She's also said to be investing in data and analytics, lots of innovation, all
Hmm.
specifically around the women's game. So I'm loving a little bit of that. As long as she doesn't invest all of that money back into her women's team, then I'm happy.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not. Yeah, be more measured with that though, will you, Michelle? Do us a favour, lass. We've also got UEFA reportedly making huge investment, and they want to actually start a second European club competition. It's essentially, Aaron, a knockout format from the teams that were knocked out in earlier rounds. So this has come out from Nadine Kessler, the UEFA managing director of women's football. So that is super exciting. And the FA has even unveiled a new strategy as well till 2028, which is absolutely fantastic. It's going to be worth about 1 billion euros over 6 years, called Unstoppable, hoping to make Europe the home of the top world's women players. 6 professional leagues they're looking to create, and they're looking to make, I think, 5,000 pro players in a women's league as well, which is unbelievable, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely amazing, and they're really homing in on it now. I did receive an email from the FA. I get like the newsletters. We're in like an ex-players group, so we get all what's coming up, what's launching, things like that. And I did say that, and I thought that was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it's going the right way, and they're pushing all the barriers down. So we are getting somewhere now, and it's great to see.
Yeah, for sure. And we've got a good comment from Steve Cook here. Didn't think gender affects feet. Interesting. Learning something new every day. Yeah, and Aaron made a really good point about the ACLs. If you don't have the right footwear, it obviously leads to injuries and things like that. So I think it's fantastic to see that we're actually seeing some progress and some scientific innovation in the field of feet. Love
Yeah,
that.
it is. It's a lot of people will be shocked by that, but yeah, if women's feet have a little bit of a Google, you'll see is totally different, and balance and all of that. And yeah, on the back of that, if wearing boots that are not fit for women's feet creates more injuries further down the line. So yeah, Sam's right. They're plowing loads of money into it, get all the sort of analysis from it, to make the right boots for women to be able to then market them, which is what we've all been waiting for, really.
And can you just repeat that part again about me being right?
Well, all right, I'll give it to you this week. You were right.
Oh, thank you. That means a great deal. We also have Stato in the chat. Evening, good sir. Lovely to see you here on the Lasses Show. Class, love that. Aaron, I don't know if you caught TTR Friday. As ever, I have my Sam's wine segment.
I
And
didn't.
I was forming, absolutely
Why?
forming on me soapbox, on me high horse, for anybody who would listen to us.
You and
Essentially,
your high horse? Never.
shocking,
Never.
shocking. I know,
Why?
but I
Why?
was.
Come on, tell me more.
I'm gonna, if you let us carry
I'm
on.
eager.
Okay. Arsenal.
Right.
Arsenal women's team may having to forfeit their match against Bayern. And this is
Ah.
essentially to
Mhm.
make way for the men's cup game, bearing in mind that the women's have been scheduled since September. The talks
Yeah.
are apparently ongoing with UEFA, who've suggested that the football ground that they've wanted to go and play the game at,
Mhm.
so the 55,000 people who've already bought tickets can go and watch it, they've said that that ground isn't up to scratch. So there's talks ongoing to see if they can move it, change the date, change the time, change the ground. What can we do? But really disappointing considering how that was booked in September. Suddenly a men's cup fixtures up and we're in this tussle for, well, who gets to play.
Yes. Yeah, that's a bit pants. I mean, UEFA do have, the same as the FA, they have the right to whatever says goes. But it's bad crack to see that, they'll just switch a fixture and all of a sudden, bam, it's on, it's going to clash with the women. So as we can see, there's still a far way to go, because that says it all for you, doesn't it? You know, and UEFA being the top of the top, you don't get any higher, you know, but they do rule the roost, and if they say they want it and they want it on that date, that's what they'll get, because it's them. But yeah, hopefully in the next couple of years this won't be happening. But yes, absolutely, yeah, don't agree with it at all. And then poor lasses then will have to change the fixtures around for them. But it's something that we've been up against for a long time. And the progression's there, because like Arsenal are now playing at the men's ground, which we're on about, but other Premier League teams, WSL clubs are starting to, and there's still that massive gap with what we're seeing, what you're just saying there. So there's still a long way to go. It's sad to hear, but I still feel a progression. What we've gone from to now is massive. Do you know what I mean? So just the end bit to go.
We're slowly but surely getting there. Listen, I've just been saying loads of positive stuff. The investment that we're starting to see, you know, brands that are starting to innovate for the women's game specifically as well. So all good stuff, but there's still just that peppering of BS which happens. We'll get there anyway. Moving on to our Newcastle United women's injury update. Before we get into the review, so we do still have Furness injured. Now, this was reported to be a minor niggle, which was before the international break, but it was great to see her in the crowd supporting the lasses at the Bristol game. So that was absolutely superb. And thank you to NUFC Extra who posted the footage about the away match. Appreciated as always for those who can't get down. Cataldo, MIA, missing in action, not seen on the pitch since the London Lionesses opening game of the season. But we did see the return of Stobbs since the suspension. To be clear, she wasn't injured. She was just suspended for silly yellow card and got sent off with the red. Aran, I'm going to bring up now our board to discuss the starting 11 that we had. So talk us through the choices. Some eyebrows raised here?
Yeah, I mean, first off, formation-wise, I mean, we're going with a 4-5-1. A bit of a, as we'll talk through the game, I mean, you've got the likes of Andrews and Lumsden. Now, they pushed so far ahead, they left massive gaps. And poor Olivia Watt got hammered down that left-hand side. And yeah, like formation-wise, I mean, they set up with 3-4-1-2, and I think we were massively outplayed in midfield. And I think Andrews and Lumsden needed to get back, more so Andrews, because on that left-hand side, the balls just kept getting switched diagonal, and that caused us a massive, massive problem, because I don't feel the marking from the wingers was there, and that I think that's what lost with the game. Had they been a bit more defensive and tracking back, the position of the midfield was completely out. A midfield should be a bit like, if the ball's on the right, you should have a bit of a wave going on. So the player inside, the likes of Joel, should have just stepped back in. Then you should have had the likes of McQuaid just dropping forward, and then you have Andrews dropping back, but that wasn't the case. They were too far forward. It was like playing with three fully up front, and you can't do that. And the likes of Bristol have come down from the WSL. Like, you can't do that. They're very, very strong players. I mean, they had Cataldo, they had Shauna, Body, Furness has all played for Bristol, and Furness has only left in May to come from Bristol to us. So I feel like it was really disappointing, and I know we'll talk through the game, but overall summary of it, like, I think we could have done a whole lot better. We made a big mistake with the way we set up, which cost us the 3 points. It did. What formation cost we?
Well, let's get into it then. So I think for me, an apology straight away, because, and this is again a bit of a what grinds my gears. I'm just such a chill person, aren't I? I'm always angry about something. I like to call it spicy personality, but never mind. no commentary on Bristol City's stream, so no disrespect to the Bristol City women's players at all, but it was really difficult, especially given the almost bird's eye view camera angle. So it was really difficult to see as
It was
well.
really high, wasn't it? Like it was they're like the beauty or men on the pitch. But again, this is what comes down to the whole piece that we're saying about women's football and like the funding. Again, Bristol City clearly don't have the budget to have commentators and that in. So they've literally streamed the game, but that's all they can do. And yeah, I felt like I was watching a little Subbuteo game.
Yeah, I mean, I did pick up that the cameraman was struggling with a bit of a cold. So that was my like in-game entertainment because it was a difficult watch. And Aran, you've said already that Bristol City, that they come from the Super League, right? Okay. I mean, what do you think about Stubbs back from suspension and didn't get the start? Because I think that's killed us. That's killed us.
It has and it hasn't. And the reason I say that it is like Stubbs is a creator. She can make and play balls too. She's a bit like in the men's team, a Bruno. And she slots the balls through for the forwards. She makes something out of nothing. She's that little magician there. But at the same time, you've got to set an example as well, because at the end of the day, someone's sent off. They're sent off for dissent, whether it was intentional or whatever, unintentional. But then putting her straight back in, would that have been fair to do that? I don't know. Like, it's a hard one to call. And Becky's obviously looked at it, and if someone gets sent off, it's not to teach them a lesson, but it's to make them think they can't be rational in games like that, make them errors, which is going to cost you and put you down to 10 players. So I think that's probably an element of that being in it when Becky's thought about, what shall I do? Shall I put her in or shall I not? And being honest, most managers wouldn't have put the player in, even in the Premier League, men or whatever. Your top managers would have benched that player purely because of the actions they did. So I don't know. It's a bill. You don't know. Like, it could have cost with the game, but ultimately, is it right to put her in there? I don't know.
I wish she did. But Aran, you're the calming voice of reason. You're analytical of the game. You bring experience and a wealth of expertise. I'm just irritated, even still, and I am calling this out as the match of our midfield disaster class.
Yes, it was to be fair. Yeah,
shocking.
like it was absolutely for midfield. That's the worst I've ever seen her play. There was nothing there. I felt Lloyd Smith ran the show. She sat right in front. She sits right behind the front two, and she was playing the ball left, right. Napier on the left, she was absolutely outstanding. I don't know if any of you watched the same game as I did and seen this, like, number 11, left hand side. That's where Watts was having a massive problem, because the balls were coming over the top, and she's a wing back, she's a left defender, and she was managing to play like a left centre forward, which caused Andrews to it should have pulled her back and made her more defensive, and she didn't. So because of that, a majority of the time when I was watching, she was standing on her own, and she was up there past her own halfway line, playing like a left forward, pushing on a Watt, and it was like one-on-one, and any balls through, she was on the end of it. That should never have been allowed to happen, because Andrew should have been tracking back, and she wasn't. There was no tracking back, and yeah, I feel like if Amber had been in, she's an orchestrator, and she would have pulled both wing backs back to tuck in, because that's what you do as a midfielders, well, attacking forward midfielders like them two are. When you're putting all the pressure on an opponent, you sit dead high up, and that's a normal game, and you expect that. But when you're under pressure, them extra players are then classed as midfielders and got to tuck in, and they didn't tuck in, and it cost us.
It cost us big, but let's talk about Amy Andrews, because I was sat there singing praises last week. You made me eat humble pie. I was sat watching this game thinking, God, I'm not looking forward to this review, because like I'm gonna have to admit that maybe I wouldn't say wrong. I think that's a stretch, but I may reconsider my my position, because you're absolutely right. You know, I thought what was absolutely working our socks off and just did not get the support. It left us wide open as well. So I think initially we held that tight back line quite early, but you could see us trying to play the ball down the left, trying to defend well. But within first 5 minutes, you could see that we actually lacked our press.
Yeah, no, literally we did. It was really flat. I found it the whole were really flat and all. We created chances, but on target we had 6 attempts, and we didn't. We got nothing from it again. What we're talking about last week
Yeah.
again, the attempts, but they went in the back of the net. Similar sort of thing. They had very little attempts, and the ball was in the back of the net. We had plenty. We just didn't finish them. And yeah, like, I mean, we were meant to be playing with one up front. Hales was on her own. She was meant to be the one, holding the fort up there, bringing the midfield into it. Instead, we ended up playing with like 3 up front. So, I mean, for me, at half time, I would have been going berserk and saying, "What are you doing? Come back. You just need to tuck in." But yeah, it cost me dearly, and I mean, it's unfair because Olivia Watt last season in the game she's played really, really well, and she's a strong defender, but she was left absolutely isolated. So if I was her, I would have been going absolutely berserk with Andrews, but who am I to say?
Well, ex-England Aran Embleton, so yeah, never mind. But I'll say it too. I think the crowd was in good voice as ever, like, rallying them on. But I was really looking to see us drive again, and you could see that McQuaid was trying to do that centrally, as we have done. But I just felt like structurally we failed to turn up, and our first very few chances came within the first five minutes or so, like that, played out from the back. Stokes makes a long shot, really, really great speedy interception. It gets to Hales, pass backwards actually, because the angle wasn't working, to McQuaid sprinting into the box as well. And I think it was Lumsden who put the shot wide of the right post. But again, they go on the counter, great pace, and they just cut through us. Absolutely cut through us to get the first shot, but luckily Moan catches it. But what I do want to move on to, I am guilty of giving Cooper like a little bit of stick here and there, and I'm not changing my mind on that. She cleared a few nice shots, but I'm just not sure about Cooper in this team, or certainly in that role that we have. Like, I would bring her on as a sub. I just think something's not clicking for me for Cooper.
I mean, the lead up to the goal again was what I've mentioned down the left hand side. It was a free kick, looked into the box, and again, as a central defender, i.e., you've got Potsy, and then you've got Cooper. They both seem to run for the ball at the same time. The communication wasn't there. And I think she got nudged completely off the ball. And that was by Ward, who I think ended up scoring. So there was a kind of push, like, to be fair. The referee should have pulled up for a free kick in my eyes. But again, it can be deemed a shoulder to shoulder. So she kind of jumped, Cooper. She got a little nudge from the Bristol player. So she went flying. And by the time the ball had gone over the top of all of them, and then the ball was crossed back in, Ward, by side footed it in the back of the net. But again, the marking, like, you've got to be clinical, and you've got to win the ball as a centre half. It's danger zone. Someone's lumping the ball into the danger area. Your job for both of them is to get rid of that ball. It doesn't matter where. If you've got to kick it out the stand, you kick it out the stand. And I feel like, yeah, like the communication wasn't there, and Cooper just got a nudge, as a centre forward does, knocked her off balance. That was her basically on the floor. And then when the ball went over the top plate back in, it was 5 yards out. She couldn't miss.
Yeah.
So they need to be stronger there, and they need to be more dominant and more physical. I would expect our centre halves to be more physical, not knocked off the ball as easy as that.
Yeah, and do you know what? I think we lacked all over, to be perfectly
We did.
honest with you. I think some of our most tried and trusted players didn't have a great day, and everybody
No.
has an off day.
Mhm.
That's absolutely fine. But
Mhm.
I do believe the setup just wasn't right from the start. And whether that's because the players weren't taking, the instruction that Becky gave, we can't say that, or whether that selection wasn't right from the start. But it felt like to me that, and certainly you could see it from even the first half, like we just lacked that bit of that heart
Mm.
almost. We're not known for that. Like
Mm.
we play out of our skin for the badge, and I didn't seem to see it. And I think when I saw what got a start, great, but as we mentioned earlier, she was so isolated, and that
Mhm.
actually didn't just make the game so difficult for her, really fatigued her quite quickly, but actually opened us up defensively as well. And I think within 15 minutes they already had a shot on target, plenty of players in the box
Mhm.
as well, and we really struggled to get them dispossessed, and we lost everything. We got dispossessed a lot. We just got thrown about. It was hard. It was challenging.
Yeah, it was, and I think Kirby, the Bristol manager, has done his homework before coming into to this game 100%, because on paper, we should have went in that and won that game quite easy. And I think we're lacked in a lot of areas. I can't just blame. I know I've mentioned Andrews a lot, and I think a lot of the danger, came from that side of the pitch. But ultimately, I mean, Body was left isolated in the middle. She was running around like back and forward. There was no one supporting. There was no the full positional play of that midfield was completely off, and therefore it put that much pressure on the back line. I think they were just exhausted in the end, and to lose a goal right before half time is bad. Because you're going into half time and you're thinking, all right, when we come out, we've got to pull one back pretty quick, try and then get another one late on, and then to lose another one straight after half time, you're up against it then, especially away, and especially against a team that literally got all the players behind the ball. And I know right at the end there was a sending off from Struck, and I still don't know what that was all about. I think it was dissent. That's all I could make out when the referee showed the second yellow. Um, but again, the game was already tied up by then. It was too late. I just think, yeah, I don't know what happened. We fell to pieces completely.
I think
Well,
I think I think we lost it mentally
I think,
early.
I don't know.
We just didn't have it, and like when the extra time got added on, and then oh my goodness. And I mean, we've got a good chat here. Actually, I thought Dana Cooper did okay, but would you bring Hannah Greenwood? Absolutely, I would have. I don't know
Yeah,
about you, Aaron, but I think it was calling out for a player like Greenwood on there. I think the
Hannah Greenwood
creativity, yeah.
was for not being phenomenal when she's played all last season and that. And yeah, 100% I would have. Um, Yeah, just very disappointed. I was really, really disappointed with the performance, and I know that, like anything, Becky will pull it back together and dissect it this week and all of that kind of stuff. But ultimately, that was 3 points down the drain, and we're so close again. I know there's still not a lot on it, lot in it. I think there's about 5 teams that are on 14 points. There's only a couple of points from between um, middle and top. So it's all still a pull back, but it's disappointing the fact it was on a plate forward. I just think teams are now starting to work us out, and we didn't stick to the game plan which we normally do, using our wide areas to play Lumsden, to get them balls and deliver them in the box for like the heels to get on the end of them. Like that just went out the window completely. There was none of that. It was just it was scrappy. It was a scrappy game to watch. Yeah.
It gave me a really unpolished feel to a team that I didn't recognize
Mhm.
at the weekend. Obviously, ended half time 1-0, as you said, right at the whistle as well, which made it pretty difficult to digest. Not going in with a great feel to the second half as well.
No.
And this is the point. I'm just thinking, wow, it's when you sort of realize who you're missing, like the likes of Kelly, Stobbs, like they're difference makers. But what makes the difference, Aaron? Why are they so special, and why do we just seem to play better with them in the squad?
Because ultimately, Sam, that the experience. They played at a much higher level.
Mm.
And I know we've mentioned this before about the younger players, and that's why they do give way for your more experience, because when you're under the cosh as a team and the going gets tough, they can grind the results out, they can bring your team back, they can motivate the people around you. Your younger ones don't have that experience, so they're kind of, you'll always see them getting subbed off at the end to bring a more experienced on. But yeah, we're massively missed. It was two different, like looking at two different teams from the week before to then this game. I was like, what is happening? Like, it was all working out. They played brilliant, and then yeah, there was just no. They never kept possession very well. Even the defense were making mistakes, like pass backs at one point, and nearly one of the centre forwards from Bristol ran in, and then he nipped the ball away before it made it back to the keeper. It was like silly errors.
Yeah, rookie.
But
It looked
yeah,
rookie
yeah,
in
it did.
places.
It was
Yeah.
it was rough. It was like it just wasn't there. The whole piece has to come together to have the possession to be able to go forward, to play the balls in, to get them out wide. Like Becky has a game plan, and that game plan was completely out the window. And I don't know. I'm hoping it was just a one-off.
Yeah, well, we've got an interesting comment here. So Matt Lewis, NUW89. I think we look disjointed, especially in the
Right.
first half. Do you think Mainz could have been on St James's Park Sunday? The league is still very tight, and hopefully we can hit
Possibly.
some consistency with the next 4 league
Okay.
games.
That's exactly it in a nutshell. Like, we need consistency, and at the minute we're not. We're either brilliant or we're not. We're terrible. There's no in between, and I'm hoping so. In the next 4 games, but I don't think it's like psychologically. I could be wrong, but I don't think it was about the whole St James's Park piece. I just think that they, as a team, just didn't. I think the formation was all over, and I think they, they need to have a word with the wingers, which I'm sure she will, and pull them back in because they were totally out of place. And I think because they're very forward-minded players, Lumsden, I did see tucking in, but because you've got really, really attacking players in the midfield, and then you've got body that sits in, that's the risk you run if players aren't tracking back. You kind of play at this level and not track your players back. It's not, or otherwise you get caught massively, and that's what's happening. So I think there's a lot of work still to be done with some of the new players coming.
Yeah, for sure. And I think for me to just end it there and it be a poor display of our grit and determination, I don't think
Mhm.
that was a good showcase for us. But moving on to the sort of second half, I was definitely looking to see more from Andrews in the way of support. Um, the taste is bitter in my mouth after that humble pie that I have eaten, but I'm not going to take it away. I did enjoy her support of Hales in the last match, but never mind. I'm just going to quickly move on from that. They continue to play out from the back. We don't seem to be able to get the ball off them. When we are in possession, we just lose it consistently. Just really inaccurate passing, inaccurate crosses as well. But Stobbs does come on now. And I feel like already we have some much better
Mhm.
control. We're still not there, but she just seemed to steady the ship a little bit. How did you feel seeing Stobbs come on?
Yeah, like she's balanced. That's what she is. She's absolute balance, and she gives them people around her a bit of a boost. that they look up to her. And yeah, like it was great to see her come on, and I'm hoping that she's going to be playing on Sunday, and start. And I'm hoping it was just the fact that it was one of those where you've been suspended, you'll have to wait your turn on the bench until I'd feel deemed to put you on the pitch, and that's what managers tend to do. So, no, great performance when she came on. Love to see her on Sunday.
Yes, yes, please. Wacky, you're absolutely right. We were saying it at the beginning of the show. I don't know if you missed that, but they were from Super League.
WSL.
So yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So a great standard. But again, it just goes to show there's another level, there's another leap that we all need to make here. So it's probably quite humbling for us to have that. And I hope it hasn't shaken us too much for St James's. I think Stokes was really great. I actually like what Stokes does. I think she's really great at the defensive mentality. She always gets back in plenty of time. And I believe she reads the game very, very well. She has really great anticipation. I felt like that was very lacking from us as well on Sunday. But again, we were continually dispossessed. Just every attack they had seemed to be really, really promising. But there was times when we did defend well. I mean, just what was it that we were outclassed, Aaron? It's not the performance we're used to. We had subs that came on as well. We had I think Barker came on for Hales, and then Haywood came on for McQuaid. But it didn't make the difference to us.
Nah, I think the game was already gone then, if I'm being honest. I think, outclassed, because what happens is, with a team like Bristol, they're playing in WSL level. They've got so much experience. This is a lower league for them. And yes, they've lost a couple of players, but at the same time, they know how to readjust, because they've been playing against Chelsea, they've been playing against Man City. They know how to, as a team, to adjust without even the manager from the sideline giving them guidance. And I think they played to their strengths, and they definitely played our weaknesses, and they exploited the space. And I think we didn't adapt. I don't think that we were so unbalanced in the middle. They ran riot. And like I say, you've got the likes of Lloyd Smith, who just plays behind the front two.
Oh,
She was just picking. She was picking everything up from the middle. She was just playing on an arc, and everyone was looking around as who's picking her up, and then Napa on the left hand side. I don't know how many times I had to look and think, oh my god, she's on her own. Like, and every time someone picked up the ball from their team, they would turn out, if it was on the right, turn out to switch it out to the left, because they knew fine well she was standing on her own every time. So all the danger was coming from that side, leading up to the second goal. She was the creator of the second goal down the left hand side again, cutting into the box. Then the keeper parried it out, and it landed straight to I think it was actually Lloyd Smith's foot, and she side footed it in. So we let them run riot. We didn't. We should have been a lot tighter on Morgan. Again, I would blame each and every one of them, because ultimately they were all not in the correct positions. Like, throughout the game, they were all
I love
out of
when
position.
you get all passionate and angry. Does it feel good, Aaron? Just let it out. Just be like me. Love that.
Can't help it. In me blood. But yeah.
Yes.
It's because when I watch games, like, and when you play like for years and years, like, I look at the match, right, and I want to pull my hair out sometimes, because as supporters, we all think we're Alex Ferguson. Let's be honest, we do. We all think we can manage the team, and but when you played it for that many years and you've run out through the tunnel, and you're looking, and I just think I get so like annoyed with it, because I can see it stand out like a sore thumb. And when players aren't doing it, I forget they're a lot younger, they're inexperienced, they've got a lot to learn. It comes with a coaching. Becky will obviously get them right and all of that, but yeah, as an ex-player,
Okay, after that lesson in rage there, we have a super chat. Ian Fleming, thank you very much for your £5 donation there. I don't think the defeat will harm the Lasses. They are in a tougher league, and I think if they finish in top 6, they will have done well.
Totally
And I
agree.
think back to what you were probably saying there, Aaron, I think this hurts because it's almost jarring, because I don't think we've looked uncomfortable with the promotion that we've had. I think we've put teams to the test. We've learned some lessons as well, and we've looked to have implemented that in the next match. I think what I'm grabbing onto for dear life at the moment is because they were obviously, relegated to this league, that's where I was seeing the difference in the quality. This is coming back down to me, like the grit and the determination that didn't feel the pace was there. I know structurally we weren't sound, but I mean, it's almost like as a fan, you think you can see heart and passion in players. I felt like that was missing. I'm probably talking out my bum, but that's what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I just think that clever teams, especially when they played at that level, can pick up and adjust fast, like I've mentioned. And I think the back three from theirs, I've got to hand it to them. They were phenomenal. Bennett, Struck, Masaki, the three of them at the back, shut up sharp. And for the first time, our team struggled to break them down and get behind them. Yes, we had plenty of chances, don't get us wrong, but clear cut. Like, they did well to, I've got to give them credit, the back three. They did amazing. And they set
Yeah,
up
they
their
did.
formation to combat ours, and it worked. I think that their wing backs that are defenders ended up playing the centre forwards, and our wing backs didn't follow. So yeah, they exploited the areas that they've clearly seen was the danger areas, and it worked for them. So I've got to give Bristol, although I don't want to, I've got to give them, and Steve Kirby all the praise because they did amazing. But
Yes,
it just goes to
credit
say
where it
it
is
is credit
due.
when it's due. Kind of just pull our team apart and say they didn't do this, didn't do this. Ultimately, they did. Bristol did it right, and we've got to learn from that. And I don't think it'll affect we're moving forward. But these are the games we need to grind results out as well if we want to be at the top of the table and sustain being at the top of the table. We cannot be up and down because we just find ourselves with the points being so close. We can be up there 1 minute, but you lose one game and you drop 5 places. So like, it's consistency we need.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well, we haven't particularly talked about the fact that this seemed to be like a return to form of the fact that we can't finish our dinner and put the chances away. We were we struggled with this, and I think a few wins obviously makes us feel great as a fan base. But actually, if we look at our goal to chance ratio, no, we're not doing
No.
amazing for that at the minute. So
Mm.
there's still a great deal of work to do, and even our famous set pieces failed us at the weekend as well. Like, they were just so well prepared for it, and I think it was Lloyd Smith scoring. It was just
Yeah.
just that minutes after it started, and you're hoping that there's going to be a boot thrown at people's heads in the dressing room. I'm joking, I don't condone violence, but like an almighty rant
Mhm.
happening. Like, what is happening? Let's gather our force. But then again, Aaron, we had players who were like, sat down on the pitch, getting medical attention, where we were able to sort of draw back to the tactical area. And I expected things to change even just after a quick word in an ear. That didn't happen either. It was
Mhm.
just nothing seemed to be doing it, and their second half goal just seemed almost too easy again.
Yeah.
They played out from the back, which they'd done all match. We couldn't get the ball off them. They took a long ball down
Mhm.
the left, and it was just squarely over in exactly the same fashion as the first goal, like wide open space, despite the fact that we had, I think it was like 4, maybe 5 players in the box. Like, but we congested the near post and just left this gaping void of space, and then
Yeah.
just
But if
taking it
you've got
again
a
and put it to
couple
bed.
if you've got a couple of players like out of position, and you've got the likes of Cooper and Potsy trying to cover for those players, it just takes it. If you're pulling people out of position, you're leaving massive gaps elsewhere. And centre forwards, that is your job as a centre forward, is to pull the defenders in different directions, because that's how you create your space. And I think that's exactly what they did to us. And it cost us, even from the set piece, deep in the half. There shouldn't be no way being able to deliver a set piece into the box as deep as that and not have been able to clear it as defenders. Cooper and Cooper and Potts should have been on the end of that with our heads and clearing that, and that wasn't the case. It was a half-hearted knock out the way. She fell over because she was shoulder barged, and then it fell straight to someone's feet. So yeah, we need to be stronger.
I love that. Like literally, Cooper, please be stronger. I mean, in fairness, she did get up off her arse to just see the ball go in the back of the net.
But Sam's right?
What?
As a defender, right? No, just listen. Just go with me on this, right?
Yeah, right.
Centre halves are hard as nails, and the listeners will agree with us. They are. They tend to be hard as nails. Look at Pot. She'll run through brick walls, and they'll knock anyone out the way to get that ball. The same as a keeper. They'll take their own players out if they have to. So when Cooper was on the floor and got barged out the way mid-air, I expected better. That's what I'm saying. I was a bit disappointed. She could have done better in that situation.
And I mean, I like coffee. One of our mods comment is terrifying to me. 1 point behind.
Yep. Sunderland is right behind her. Mel Ray will be putting our hands together, and that's not good.
No, it is not. It frankly terrifies me for that reverse fixture, because we need to maintain Derby glory. I cannot have us falling off in it for any intents and purposes. I just
need to get back on our trail, because we don't want to give them too much confidence for when we go head to head with them. That's the last thing we need, is Sunderland coming into a game with loads of confidence.
Indeed. And I just thought you could see they were so deflated at the end of the match as well. Going over, they obviously celebrated the fans coming down, but it's a long trip, I think, for that kind of performance, Aran, which was quite shaking, I think, for everybody who'd made such an effort to go down. Social media posters, we try and follow the lasses to get as much news as we can, because not a great deal actually comes out the club, and I think there's been a lot of reflection. But Aran, how do you prepare for the next match? It's going to be huge. It's at St. James's. Southampton is happening on Sunday. How do we regroup after something? What would Becky be saying to the lasses?
You've got to just keep them positive. Again, like that game's over with. It's done now. We've lost. End of. Push it to one side. But ultimately, you've also got to work on, like we say, positional play. What went wrong? You've got to give your team a bit of a boost. Your players need a bit of a boost after you come away from a defeat. And because obviously our next game you want the 3 points. I mean, Southampton, they're sat in fourth. So they're up there. But again, we've beaten teams higher than them. So that doesn't scare me personally. Like, I still think we'll come back with a bang, and we're at St. James's Park, and we're going to beat the record this week for the league. I'm telling you now, Sam. 15 to 20,000. I think we're going to have Toon army in force. So yeah, this week I would have hoped, when she's watched back, which she will have, she'll be looking at what the midfield, what can happen. Might even be a tweak in formation different this week. I would expect it from that performance. It has to be. You cannot play like that again, else you're just going to get flattened.
Love that. And by the way, I wasn't shocked about the numbers that you were anticipating for the St. James's Park. I was shocked at your positivity. So just wanted to be Just wanted to be clear on that. But to cheer us all up, here's the picture when we won the derby against Sunderland.
Yay!
I just thought we needed to
Love it.
show that again. Let's just up the spirit
Yeah.
and up the ante. So, Aran, I'm going to move on now to the table. Just this is the latest and greatest results that we've actually got here. So we can see Bristol City now sitting in 5th. We are in 7th currently. Southampton 4th. Talk to me about that and what we can expect.
Well, yeah, I mean, Southampton, they've won 4. They're doing all right, to be fair, you know. That yeah, they've lost 2. But goal-wise, by the looks of it, they've done all right, as in they've got the power up front. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. But I think because the lasses will have had a grilling this week from Becky and the coaching team, and it's at St James's, I would be expecting nothing other than to come out with a win. And I think, provided they start and be more consistent and win more games off the belt, which we need them to do, then, you know, I thought we were at that point already from last week. I genuinely did. That's why I said, yeah, top 3 when I was saying, look, I've gone from saying top 6 to top 3. But again, I'm now on the fence because when I see performances like that, I'm hoping for a flat, you know, a performance where it's going to keep going. Yeah, you're going to have the odd defeat, but generally you need most of your wins. And I seen a massive drop straight away on the back of a big win. So that makes us think like, oh, we're still not there yet where I thought we were.
Frustration situation is what is happening.
Like literally, yeah, because the talent's there, the team's there, the experience is there. It's all like there's internationals sat in there, like that's got 60 plus caps for the country in different, you know, whether that's Ireland, whether that's England, and they're still making some basic errors. So yeah, it annoys me, but I still say that, you know, I can see other positives of it. You know what I mean? I can see the quality we've got, which is great. You know.
Yeah, it is great, but I think at the same time, you know, consistency needs to be key for us to actually look to progress and kick on. I want to be a mainstay at the top of that table, fighting for, you know, 3rd. For anybody who's new to the channel or new to women's football and the championship here, there's one promotion spot up for grabs here. It's so tough, and as we've just seen from the table there's not a great deal in it. So like every game we need to be pulling it out of the bag and not putting in half performances like that. I hate being so harsh about them because I really do want to be supportive, but I got to be realistic about it, Aran. I think we both do, and that's just it was a no from me.
You know what it is? Like, I think as well, the consistency comes from the team, right? Generally, you do change your starting 11, but not by many, 1 or 2. Sometimes you don't even change it at all. But I feel like we've had the suspensions, we've had the injuries most of all. So we're not sticking with the same. We're switching the team quite a lot at the minute, and I think that may have a big impact on it. You know, players in, players out. This one's injured, that one's suspended. Yeah, that's football, and I get that. Like, of course, that does happen. But I feel we've had quite a lot of injuries already. It was a bit like the men's team last year, were hammered with injuries, but strong experienced individuals have been injured, so I don't think that's helped.
I mean, we've got Wacky. Good evening, sir. I also think the high of coming off the Birmingham win is a factor too. Do you think we sort of slept on Bristol City, thinking beat top of the league with
I think it was complacency. Yeah, I do. I think you're very right. Like, an element of complacency creeps in, and I think they just maybe thought they could waltz out and win, but it doesn't work like that. Football, it does not work like that at all. Like, you've got to work, and you know, even the bottom teams in the league, you're talking like Blackburn, Portsmouth, are hard games. There's no easy game in this league, and I think the complacency definitely had a factor. I agree.
Yeah, it was a real shame. But I mean, we've got the upcoming fixtures as well. So as we know, we have got Southampton at St James's Park, and then back on December the 14th at Kingston Park, Blackburn Rovers there, and then on to January. So we've got a lot of fixtures to come as well. What we do always do on this show, and we love to promote it, please get your tickets in, support the lasses at St James's Park. They are on general sale, and as we said, we are looking for a great attendance there. It's Southampton, but we've got the Newcastle, we've got Geordies who are going to be out there supporting massively. Aran and myself are going to be there on the day, so please do come and say hello, give us your sort of roundup, how you were feeling about everything. Please do come over and chat to us.
And it is, Sam, it is only £8 to get in. So
is it?
Yes. Only £8.
Why didn't I know that? I've got my ticket. Of course, I know that. I've just forgotten.
£8 to get in St James's Park. The atmosphere is fantastic, and we want to break the records. So I'd love to see more people down there if you can.
Yeah, definitely. And do you know what? We need to hold the record. Like the Toon need the record at St James's. It's currently sat with Sunderland. So please, if anybody's watching this live or on the repeat, on the record, please just go. Please go get a ticket. Please,
I think
come
it's
along
been beaten, Sam, in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if it's been by.
Has it?
Yes, I think it has. I want to say at Charlton. Let's think who it was.
Don't make me fact check you.
No, it might be. You might have to check this, but I'm sure it's about 11,500. And I think it could be. It is a London club. I'm trying to think if it's London Lionesses or not. But yeah.
Well, I ain't having it. I'm going to be really petty about this.
Get on Google.
I'm gonna Google the hell out of this. But yeah, absolutely. This is bringing us to the end of our show, folks. Another fantastic show, Aran. Thank you very much. Has been chalked up tonight. Thank you to the TTR family for joining us, the mods as ever for helping us and supporting us in the chat. Thank you to my wonderful co-host Aran, getting involved with us.
You're
but
welcome.
mostly, thank you tonight for everybody watching.
How are the lads and how are the lasses?
Yeah!
Come back and check out the green.